if you would introduce yourself.
I'm Siobhan Williams. I like to make stuff.
All right, and you've been a member here for how long?
I've been a member here for a year now.
Okay, and what kinds of things do you do at the makerspace?
What do I do? So, every week we host a Metal Monday, which is kind of an open format, kind of open office hours. Come to the metal shop and get help with your project. If you're not signed off with the tools, we can help you work on your project there. I haven't come up with a personal metal shop project yet, but I do have a background in the metal shop. I picked up woodworking last year with a cutting board class, and I've since made like 5 cutting boards and given them all away. Started making pens. I've started on a ukulele, and I haven't gotten very far at all. So, those are just so far what I've done in the last year.
Is there any project that you've done that you were super, horrible way to say it, but jazzed about?
So a couple years back, I was at a different makerspace out in San Diego. I was getting ready for my second Burning Man, and my bike had just bothered my back because I pulled a muscle when moving a mattress. So I decided I want a tricycle, a recumbent tricycle. A store-bought one would not do. So I learned to weld, and I built a 9-foot-long tricycle using plans from zombiebikes.com. So.
All right, and if you were to encounter young people who are interested in becoming more makerly, what would you suggest as places to start in skills or things they should do before they start coming to makerspaces? Or is there anything?
I would say step 1 is check out your local makerspace. Start meeting the people. See what classes they're offering and what interests you. And take a class or two. I took the laser cutter class here before I joined. It wasn't my first time using a laser cutter, but it had been a few years. And quite frankly, that's one of the easiest ways to get into a new skill set that nobody in your immediate circle has experience with is to take a class. Yeah.
All right, and the big question that's always fun to ask is, who is and who isn't a maker?
Who is and who isn't a maker? That's a hard one to quantify because everybody absolutely can be a maker. If you knit, you're a maker. If you cook food, you're a maker. If you make websites, you're a maker. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical thing or something done in a machine or a wood shop. I don't know.
Would you say there is a certain category of creating things that doesn't belong at a makerspace?
I honestly can't think of any category that wouldn't belong in a makerspace because the beauty of makerspaces is they're kind of an umbrella home for folks who want to make stuff. I enjoy making stuff. Everything from welding to sewing to knitting, cooking, woodworking. I haven't tried blacksmithing yet. I'll get there. But, there's electronics, any combination of any of these areas as well. It's one of the beauties of a makerspace is it's so wide open.
All right, and as I go forward to other makerspaces, are there any things in particular you'd be interested in learning about other makerspaces and their members?
It's always interesting to see how other makerspaces arrange their spaces. Like here we've got the Orange Bay, which includes the Craftster's Corner, which has everything you'd associate with arts and crafts or kind of the home ec making type of thing with the sewing. And there's also the electronics bench paired up with the 3D printers. Then we have a range of classrooms going back into where the heavier machinery is found. I was at a different makerspace where you'd come in and it was a lobby. This particular makerspace was a for-profit, and so they had a lobby area where they had some of their businesses that rented space, and then you go into the back and it was essentially divided up into 3 strips almost. You had one strip was the wood shop, the next strip was the craft where they had the embroidery machine, the quilter, and they had something for screen printing shirts. It's just kind of a general purpose assembly room almost was included in there, and then there was the metalworking space. And I've been watching Adam Savage's videos where he goes and tours makerspaces, and it's always interesting to see how they do it and how they talk about it. There's one out in, I think it was the East Bay in California, where they're constantly shifting the shop around depending on what everyone is concentrating in and what more people need.
All right. And is there anything you think that needs to be said about makerspaces, or anything in between that I haven't asked about?
Other than get out and make stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome.